Welcome to our online training for the historian, marketing chair, and social media officers. We're combining this into one video because there's some significant overlap, and we've noticed fewer groups using the historian position because of the emphasis on social media. But we'll discuss how they overlap. Let's start with the history and role of the actual historian. Their role is to document what's happening, either events or accomplishments, keeping these pictures for the future, documenting dates and milestones, and generally keeping track of where the group has come from. Often the historian is the group's photographer, but with the phone being a solid camera, anyone can be a photographer. You are also responsible for passing this on to your successor when the time comes. Well, that's still a key thing now, but this role has evolved with the emergence of social media. That is how we keep track of things. We look back at the Instagram timeline, for example. Less and less groups actually have historians, but it still serves a valuable purpose. Now let's talk about the role of the marketing chair. This person's job is traditionally to create all the marketing, including digital creation such as flyers, as well as physical marketing like banners and posters that you might paint or draw. You then distribute these things by putting up flyers across campus or hanging up banners at the bell tower. You also need to work closely with the rest of the board. The fundraising chair might need a flyer made for their fundraiser. The events chair might have a whole suite of images they need made for the big culture show. The marketing chair works with all of the positions in the club. And now most clubs also have a social media chair. You might have just one of these roles or two of them or maybe even all three of them in your club. The social media chair is responsible for updating your group's various outlets and making sure every account is being used. You also respond to messages and comments and try to use each site for what it's really best at. You want to archive photos too, so keep a flash drive of pictures from as far back as you can get. You may need them someday. Having the raw photos is also better for when you want to print them or use them in your marketing, as opposed to the compressed versions you can download from Facebook, for example. Now, if the social media we use now won't be around forever, what will be? Always be on the lookout for the new thing, and try new outlets when it makes sense. Let's talk about creating this marketing. You might have a dedicated person for designing your content and marketing. That's ideal. The first thing you should think about is your image on campus. Maybe your club has a negative reputation that you're trying to overcome, so your marketing can be the first way to share with the world that things are changing. You want a consistent look, branding that unifies your social media, physical marketing, everything. If you don't have someone that can do graphic design, remember that there are designers that do work for student orgs free of charge. So when you need new logos, flyers, etc., you can get them made here. Just ask Student Life or your dedicated advisor how to reach them. Now, social media is the easiest way to market your club. Just make sure you're using hashtags and locations that will bring people to you. During the summer, use hashtag Highlander Orientation because that's where the new students are at. Use hashtag UCR and hashtag UC Riverside on everything you post. Student Life also shares posts once a week, so if you use the hashtags share our event, share our meeting, or share our fundraiser, we share all of the relevant posts every Monday right after 3 p.m. The last thing you'll want to remember across both digital and physical marketing is to use the correct format of your name. Student orgs can only use UCR in their name as a location. So don't make a flyer that says UCR's Chess Club is hosting an event. It should be Chess Club at UCR instead. To keep it simple, many of your groups don't even need to include UCR in your name on your flyer, so it shouldn't matter too much to you. If you're going to use physical flyers to promote your club, remember that you're restricted to the campus bulletin boards. You'll see groups post on walls and classrooms. That's not allowed, and those groups might face conduct charges for posting there. We can provide a map of the 30 bulletin boards around campus that you can utilize. Just make sure each flyer has the group's name on it, a contact email address, and a day and a time. You can't just post a flyer with your club's general info. It needs to point to a meeting or event. It's a bigger question as to if these flyers are worth it. Think for a moment about the times you've stopped to look at the bulletin boards around campus. It's rare, so it's not uncommon for groups to rely primarily on electronic marketing. Your marketing officer and your recruitment chair should also work closely together, so make sure that they are watching the video that we have up for them. Let's take a look at the most popular social media sites and see what they're best for. Instagram is undoubtedly the most popular right now, and most clubs have a club account there. Instagram is ideal for flyers, sure, but also focus on people. Show officers, get to know each other. Use this outlet as an icebreaker. You can also go live and record entire events or use stories to get people pumped up before an event. You can also use stories to do things like polls and questions to engage your members. On Instagram, your social media manager can make sure to look at insights, the metrics that track how successful posts are. Insights shows you 4 icons. Let's cover these quickly. The heart is the most obvious. This means that someone liked the post. The speech bubble means that they left a comment, again, pretty apparent. The next 2 are the ones that might be surprising. The paper airplane icon means that someone messaged this post to another user. So even though only 1 person here commented, 21 people thought this post was useful enough to message to another person. And then there's the bookmark symbol. This means they want to save this for later. So if you don't get much engagement, you may find relief in the fact that 44 people wanted to reference this post later. Facebook used to be an obvious choice, but it's surprisingly dwindling among college students. So it might be used best for community members, for updating and connecting alumni or people not associated with UCR. This might include your network of friends and relatives that might want to know what your club is up to. A lot of student orgs use Facebook groups as a way to communicate with each other, but again, a lot of folks may not have an account there, so they wouldn't be able to join. YouTube is a very specific type of social media that will only work for select groups, specifically groups that perform or have videos to showcase. You could potentially record interviews or spotlights of your officers to post, or recaps of your events. Being video only means it's rather restrictive, but useful for some of you. Twitter is making a big resurgence for college students, but it's not really ideal for clubs. You need to be posting constantly for your post to be seen, which isn't usual for clubs. You might find use if you do big events or conferences where individuals can use hashtags to communicate with each other throughout the event. Other sites to consider might be discussion-based forums like Discord, really focused on dialogue between people. Some groups have found Snapchat useful for advertising their events, but it's likely more effective to encourage members to use their Snapchat to hype up an event as opposed to creating an account for your club. Here's some things to avoid when marketing your group. When you create marketing, be careful about using copyrighted materials. It might be funny to have your marketing mock the logo for Pepsi, but that could result in a cease and desist, which is just as serious as it sounds. Your social media should also diversify, not just be a place for flyers. So make sure to use people's faces and showcase events you're hosting. It is also possible to overpost. On Instagram, posting more than once or twice a day could actually hurt you, so your followers might be missing valuable information. They might unfollow you if they feel like it's too much. And when you're putting up physical flyers and banners, stick to the places that are approved. Let's talk about what these positions have in common. Marketing chair and social media chair are both focused on getting people to find out about you, so boosting attendance at events and activities you're hosting. For all 3 types of positions, historians, marketing, and social media, you all have one other common goal: a successful transition. Make sure that you're asking the people before you for what they have, things like documents and flash drives, and then make sure you're passing all of these things on to the people that will replace you. Many groups have had to create second Instagrams because no one had the password, or you've lost years of information because no one kept files. To help you with transition, Student Life is currently working on a template for officer transition manuals. Let your Student Life advisor know if this sounds interesting and if you want to help test out this process and create a manual that you can give to your eventual replacement. If you're watching this training late enough, we may have these templates already available. All of these positions also focus on keeping a history of the organization. It's obvious for the historian, but it falls on marketing and social media as well. This is how people can find out about you and where you've been. Your Instagram may end up being a timeline for many years of your existence. You also all focus on recruiting new people and creating a brand recognition, what people associate with your club. If you need more help, stop into Hub 229 and we can help you. Our phone is 951-827-7344 if you'd like to make an appointment to make sure we're here. Thanks for watching.